told me that. Anyway, here we go. Okay, we are going to do movement. I'm continuing, and I'm going to be changing it up and everything, but I'm going to always hit those 8 moves. And we're going to do those 8 moves. We're going to do it maybe not loaded today. If you want to load, you can. But movement starts with feet. And there's a lot of people that have neuropathies that have terrible feet, and they'll never be without shoes. I understand that because it's painful, etc. So you got to start when you don't have your shoes on. That's number 1. Here we go. So what I'm telling people, and we're going to start with our feet. If I were somebody that had pain in my feet, neuropathies, etc., I'd start in the bed. Not even kidding you. Okay, so if you were in the bed, laying down with your little jammies on, you start at the feet. And whenever that we're starting to warm up right now, and we're going to do kind of a, we're really going to go through it quickly. So stay with me. So I'm going to start with my feet. I'm going to go point, flex. See that? Take your hands, open back, and you're going to go point, flex with your hands too. See that? So number 1, I am sitting on a pad. That gives me a 2-inch clearance. And for some of you who are fun size, I've told you before, maybe you don't need the pad, but I'm starting from ground zero here with improving somebody's function. And if you know somebody that has feet issues, wrist issues, you know, you got to start moving them. That's number 1. So you see what I'm doing? I can do it. You can do it with your hands. I'm going to go point, flex. So when you flex, you got to flex enough to feel this muscle. That's the point. See, if you just go like this, you're not going to do that. I'm pretending I'm laying in bed. Okay? So then you graduate to the chair. And then you point and you flex. See that? Do not take this move lightly, y'all. I'm doing a hip hinge in and back at the same time that I'm doing this point, point, flex, flex. And you would say, I would hear somebody say, well, why don't you just do them both at the same time? If you have a delicate back, if you have feet problems, most likely you have back problems. And if I go and take somebody like that, and I do doubles like that, and they don't know how to set themselves, we kick up a back problem, okay? So breath into the nose, bring your hands to your side. You can do a low point flex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea. See this? Yeah. Yeah, just like that. And if you were laying in your little bed, if you were somebody that never gets caught without shoes, then those feet don't have any opportunity to get more mobility, is the point. See how I'm doing? I'm pressing into the toe. Then I come back here, I pull the toe hard until I feel this flex. And so you could do this anywhere, anytime. Okay, just you have to be aware of how valuable this movement is. I'm sorry. And here's the deal. I hope you're doing every one of these with me, because now I've graduated to the second level. See, the first one that I did was pretending I was laying in bed, because I was simulating somebody who never gets caught without their shoe. Okay, so if you're in bed, start your path to better mobility there and do your point flex. See that? Yeah. Then you graduate to this. See that? So after you've done this, I would say 30 repetitions at least, because what you're doing is you're simulating a walking pattern. Okay? And you put your arms in here with your elbows in, your shoulders down, and you're turning your head. Take a big deep breath through the nose. You can start really just going right along here, keeping up this. You're going to start breathing a little deeper, etc. After I've done that, I'm going to come into a hip hinge. I'm going to go out of the hip hinge and I'm going to go wide, wide. So I'm going to do a lot of stuff from this chair and a stance, possibly a kneeling position. But right now, I'm going wide. See that? I'm going to come up and I'm going to come up. Okay? The knee is soft. I'm doing a little tiny bit of a turn, but here's what you got to focus on. When you bring that leg up, squeeze this. Come back in. Open. Bring it up. You're wide. Squeeze this. Bring it back in. You get those muscles going around those joints that control your foot, your walking pattern. So I'm going to come up. You can point flex. You can point flex. See, I'm doing one at a time. I'm not going both. I'm going very wide with my arms. So that means I'm opening up through the chest here. See how my elbows are bent? And I'm pulling back as I push my shoulders down. I'm in a wide stance. Okay, so it's back. I'm going to bring it up. Really, really contract. Point, flex, down. Open, pull, shoulders down, other leg, point, flex, down. Take a big breath through the nose. Pull those elbows back, push your shoulders down, and now we're going to start turning our head. And I'm only going to point, flex, and contract, just like 3 or 4 repetitions. Come in, point, flex, keep it going, and come back in. Did you get that contraction right here? That's what I'm looking for. Keep those elbows soft, shoulders down, pull in, open at the hip, contract, point, flex. Here we go. Breathe in through the nose, point, flex. Big contract right here. Woo! And come down. Nice. Put your elbows on your knees. I'm sitting on that 2-inch raise of the little pad here. See that? Now, my feet are wide. They're wider than the chair. And they're not straight, but they're out just about 45 degrees. Just like that. Okay? Now I'm putting my elbows on my knees. I'm really pressing in, turning, pushing against that knee on the outside till you feel the stretch in the groin. Then you come back. Then you go the other way. Push really hard. Do not round your back here. Do not round your back. Push. Come to center. Okay, drop your shoulders. Take a big breath through your nose. You should feel pressure on all 4 corners of your foot, both feet. Not on the heel, not on the toe. 4 corners. Got it? So now I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to push into that knee, opposite over there, as I turn and I look past my shoulder. Take a big breath right now. In through the nose. Make sure that your back is extended. That means don't round that thing. Don't round it. You're pushing. You should be feeling a big stretch in your groin right now. Because I'm pushing with this arm out. Push. Come to center. Okay, stay with me. Here we go. Drop your shoulders. Number 1. You're sitting on the little pad. Number 2. I'm on all 4 corners of my feet that are wide. And now I'm going to push a little more into the heels. And then I'm going to start saying to myself, I'm gonna release my rear end. See, I'm going to release it and come up. So I'm on my feet, and then I'm gonna hold here for just a few seconds. And then I'm gonna go down, touch, and then come back. See, I said touch. I didn't say sit. Some of you went back and you're sitting. Don't sit. Make sure your back is very, very, very extended. Keep your chin tucked. Right there, just touch the back of your hamstrings. Right there, the back of your thigh. See how I'm rotating from my heel to my toes? Drop your shoulders. Heels to the toes. Heels to the toes. Just barely touch. Drop your shoulders. Big breath. Big breath. So this not only stimulates the whole foot and ankle complex, but your quads, yes, your gluteals, your back. Drop your shoulders. Take a breath. Just two more. Just two more. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, now bring your rear end up. Release those quads. Bring those hands down to the ankle. And you're going to go side to side. Your back is very extended. Keep your knees soft if you have a hard time keeping your back extended. Don't round your back. Bring your elbows back. Come back down to the sit down. Yes. Now we're going to sit to the front edge of our chair. We're going to open back. And we're going to put our ankle right here on top of our knee. See that? You see how I pushed my rib cage up? See that? This is my hip replace side. I'm not doing anything to put it at risk of popping out of there, but I'm addressing the muscles around the joint. So, number one, drop your shoulders. Chin is tucked in. Number two, rib cage up. Then you open at the hip. Keep your chin tucked. Put your ankle over your knee. If you can't get it over your knee, just cross midline somehow. If you can bring it on up there, great. Then you're giving a little tiny push down. See that? And that should really heat up the outside gluteal muscle. Okay? Take a big breath. Bring this leg right here and bring it in. Put your hands under the knee or around the knee, whichever feels more comfortable. But here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to keep it out there. You want to bring it right on up to the shoulder. Okay? Not that you're going to touch it. So here again is our little point and flex and circles. Okay? Again, rib cage up, point flex, and circles. Okay, take a breath. Oh, yes, yes, yes. In through the nose, out through the nose if possible. Sit to the edge. Open back. Okay? Open back. Rib cage is up. Then I'm going to put this ankle over the knee. So this is my replaced knee side. And it is much tighter. So it's much harder for me to get it onto the top of the knee. That's why these moves are so important. If you can move in a certain direction, move in the direction. Just keep mobile, okay? So here I am, put my hand here. I'm gonna rib cage up. That's very important right here. Lean back from the hip. A little gentle pressure right here. And this should heat up. Woo! Yeah, yeah. And those two moves, from what I've done the very beginning to this, should ease up, and your back, it should just feel so much better. A lot of our back tightness is because of our hip issues. So not always, but a lot. Okay, take a big deep breath again. Here I am on my toes and on my heels. See that? Then I'm gonna go lead my choir. I'm gonna lead my choir. I'm gonna stand up onto those toes. Now, if I was somebody that had real issues with being barefooted, and if you have issues with being barefooted, I can tell you your balance has been compromised, okay? So now I'm going to use my chair if I need to, because my feet maybe are painful and I'm like, oh no, I can't do anything. Even if you have your shoe on, the shoe will help. But if you want to do this as a progression so that you move better and you're giving your feet a chance to get mobile, go ahead and use your pad if you're going to be barefooted. But by virtue of using that pad as a stance, a standing tool, it's going to throw you, okay? The very first thing I would do beyond with somebody that had real problems with neuropathies, number one, you got to figure out what's going on with the neuropathies, okay? Have you got a pre-diabetic issue coming? Do you have nerve problems? Do you have a back issue? Why you have your neuropathies? That's number one. Figure that out. Have a medical professional help you do that. But other than that, you got to get those shoes off once in a while and give your feet a good range of motions. So see what I'm doing? So if I'm looking at this as if I have somebody with really sore feet. Your first order of business is, of course, mobilizing your ankle and your foot, which is what we addressed. I was seated. You can do it lying. What am I doing right now? I'm merely coming up and down, keeping pressure on my post here. See this? I'm bringing this leg around and I'm bringing it back. I have my chair here if I need it, but my foot is going all over the place. So you're going to be doing a lot of stuff. You're going to be walking around. You're going to be on your feet. Give your feet a little spa experience. Doing something like this is giving the foot that kind of an experience. See how I have my hand right here? So this is my knee replace side. See? So now I come back off, but now I shift back into my whole foot. And if I don't put my hand on here, I'm telling you, you've got to really work to stay on balance. But your chair is here if you need it. So open those toes. So if you have shoes on and you have feet issues and you try to do this move with no hands, first thing you're going to do is scrunchie up your toe. Second thing you're going to do is bend all in and hunker all down. Don't do either of those. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Reline up. Breathe in through the nose. See, I've got pressure off the foot now. And now I'm going to shift into the whole foot. I'm going to go from here all the way around. And I'm going to try to do this with very minimal help from holding my balance with my chair here. See that? So this kind of a roundhouse move is extremely beneficial for people that have feet issues. You got to start getting those all the structures in and around your foot to start finally working. And number one, when you do it in your bed before you even put your feet into the ground, that's going to be a huge help. If you could just put that into your regular daily, anytime you find yourself laying down, I don't care if it's a couch, I don't care if it's in the bed, before you get up from that position, do your point, flex, and then you can do circles if you want to. So you see what I'm doing? I'm not going fast with my leg here. I'm not going fast, but what I am doing is keeping my knee bent, keeping my rib cage up, staying into my fully splayed toes, okay? And I'm moving around, and on this one, this is my hip replace side, I have to put one finger on the chair. You know why? I've told you this before. Everybody should say, I know you have that problem. Yeah, many of us do. If you have hips replaced, yeah, we turn into super slugs because we don't want to use those weaker muscles. And so what we do is we overlean. So I'm staying right here. I'm saying rib cage up. I'm bringing my leg around in kind of a roundhouse kind of a move. But my knee is very soft. And I'm feeling the pressure in the whole foot. I'm saying rib cage up every time my foot comes around. But you notice I have to keep my hand right here lightly. You know why? If I didn't have my hand here, I would be way overleaning. But I can tell you right this minute, if you've been doing every one of these and really trying to stand in neutral, you're feeling a lot of heat right in through here. Yeah, especially this is my hip replace side, okay? And I'm not giving into that overleaning issue, okay? And then I'm going to come down and come back down and take the weight off right there. So there we have a whole intro to better care of your feet. Okay, this is number one. Here's number two. Now I'm going to go into some basic moves to give us better mobility, but I'm going to still keep stimulating the foot. If you are someone with very problem feet, then you got to get yourself up against a wall. Make sure you're holding on to here. Do one hand at a time, because see, that all takes pressure off of your foot, okay? So if you can take the pressure of bare feet, take a big deep breath through the nose. I'm going to soften. I'm going to hip hinge, and then I'm going to come fully up. Okay, so I want you to feel that fully up position. Got that? So soften the knees first. Push the butt back. Keep your chin tucked. Okay? Go into like if we were going to sit down. And then I'm going to come fully up, all the way up. Okay, squeeze your butt. Come way up here and pull. Yeah, you'll notice this move from our Strong Women, Strong Men, Stay Young. So here's the deal. Every time I do this, see, I feel the shoulder. So doing it with no weights is a very good thing, okay? So when you come up here, ask yourself, am I fully up? Am I fully, really standing? Number one. Drop my chin. Number two, drop my shoulders. Number three, pull, and then pull back with those elbows. Then you come back down. Okay, release, release. Keep your chin tucked. Turn your head to one side. Come down as far as you feel you can into your heels. Then you're going to come up, and then you're going to bring those arms up, but the shoulders stay down, and now we pull the elbows back. See that? Big breath. And we're on really wide foot stance. My toes might be out just a tiny bit. Okay, bring them back down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Here we go, up, 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 up. When you get all the way up here, drop your shoulders. Say rib cage up, really straight back. And then open those elbows back. This one's for you, Kay. Pull them back. Keep pulling them back. Keep pulling them back. And then come back down. So there is great value in doing some of these moves that we're working through this month and next month. And I'm going to be winding things all into it. So what am I going to do right now? I'm on my little pad, number one. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to step off. And so what am I going to, and you notice I have my hand on my chair, right? It could be a wall. It could be a counter. It could be a bed. It could be a door. Think safety first. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you have very painful feet where you just cannot go barefooted, you got to start somewhere because you got to get movement going. You have a lot of moving parts in your feet, Okay, give them a chance. That's all I'm encouraging you to do. This is nothing that will hurt you. You do have to be careful because if you have painful feet, as you know, that's going to impact your balance. Okay, so have a chair, a wall, something around you. But notice what I'm doing right now. I call this foot kneading. You're kneading with your feet. And I'm doing on a pad. I'm doing it on this balance pad. I'm doing just a walk in the park. Okay? And you might say, well, why don't you just go walking around? Well, when you're barefooted and you're on a pad that's very squishy, that right there is one of the best things you can do to help you get better balance and to gain some foot strength. Okay? So as I'm doing this little foot kneading, see this? I'm being very aware of, you can put your hands right here. If you put your hands right here, drop your shoulders, tighten in your tummy, and you should be able to feel your hips going into like a up press, like a figure 8 movement. It's just like you're walking. That's the way we ambulate, okay? And we have little problems because we have tightnesses and we have arthritises and stuff like that, and then it tightens up a muscle. So after I've done that for a little bit, foot kneading, I call it foot kneading. And if I had somebody that had a lot of neuropathy, pain in their feet, man, this little pad right here, wow, what a great device to help you. Because I would have that person on this several times probably in a day. Now, you're not going to probably have your shoes off. So at least once a day, I would get on this thing barefooted and I would do this little kneading that I'm doing right now. Okay. So once you've done that for a bit, then you're going to take and go behind. See that? And you're going to come down from the hip. Do not flex your back right here. See, come back up. So I'm on the ball of my foot back here and I'm on my whole foot here. Rib cage up, come back down. See that? I'm hip hinging and I'm going to come back up. I'm going to do 2 of these. And I'm going to bring this leg here and I'm going to bring it all the way around here. And I'm going to just go toe tap, toe tap, toe tap. Okay? Then I'm going to come back around. So mobility through the hips, especially using feet on this pad. So here I am, I did the foot kneading. And again, if you can't remember anything else and you want to do something and you're watching It's a Wonderful Life or whatever kind of Christmas stuff, put your little pad on the floor and for, I don't know, through the commercials or the first part of it or the last part of it, don't worry about doing too much, just go for a walk in the park. See this? And I need to feel this. I need to feel this because if I don't feel this, see, that means I'm not using my joints properly. And you know what I get? I get a this. Yeah, I get wobbling. So limit the wobble. Get these working, get your feet working, your knees working. So you don't do the wobble because you are using your joints in not the way they're supposed to be used because you're trying to avoid pain, which is totally understandable, but I'm trying to get you out of it. Okay, big breath through the nose. So after you've done your foot kneading and you go fully into the heel and you go fully into the toe, that's what I want you to do. So if you go fully into the ball of the foot, fully into the heel, you're going to shift. I just am trying to encourage you to stop wobbling. Very difficult when you have one leg shorter than the other because of your joints replaced or whatever, but be mindful of this because that will kick other problems up. And plus, you know, we just don't want to look like we're wobbling around the, you know, shopping mall or whatever. Okay, are you ready? Shift, take the other leg. I got my chair here if I need it. See, it's right here. Ribcage up, drop my shoulders, and I'm going to release, and I'm going to go back here as far as I can. See this? And then I'm going to come down, and I'm going to keep my hips hinging. I am not going to round my back. Bring it back around and toe all the way over here. Okay? And if you can do this without touching, well, God bless you. Okay? So when you're here, you tend to want to go into the forward foot. Try to keep it on all four corners of your foot. Then come back around, and then you're going to just bend. Yeah, but keep your hip hinge and don't flex your back. Come down as far as you feel you can, and then come back up. Just try to do it once with not touching. Now, of course, if you have to touch, of course, do that. Because this is to keep us from, you know, falling off this thing. I don't want you to fall off of it. Okay, bend. Right here, right here, right here, right here. Okay. So we're going through the movement. We're doing about 3. And then we're coming off. See that? Take a big deep breath. Toe goes out. So if you did 10 of those, if you did 30 foot presses, which is walking in place on your little balance pad, 30 of these, and it's counted 1 and. See, I didn't have to tell Kathy that. She already knew that. She tries to sneak that in on me once in a while, but it's a 1 and. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to do hip ball exchange. This is very classic in dancing. It's very classic in karate, moving from the forefoot to the heel, etc., because that has everything to do about your body placement. Okay, so you can do some of the same training by doing this and try to do it with no hands. Yeah, so after you've done that and you've done the behind the leg, this kind of pressing, see, and comes around right here, say rib cage up, and you do 10 of those, you do 30 of these, and then 10 of the roundhouse, bring it down, all the way down, and see my foot is down here and it's really pressing my heel down, which stretches all through the calf, just like that. Yeah, it's gonna feel different on both legs, depending on if you have a hip replaced, a knee replaced, whatever. Those 2 moves, oh my goodness. Somebody with a foot problem, that would just catapult you into better, using your feet better, okay? Absolutely would. Okay, now then, let's continue that whole, the whole foot issue. You can always stand on the pad. If you don't have a good carpet and you want to just stand on the pad right here, then change, do that. In fact, I'll do it with you right here. I'll put it right here. Here I'm standing. I'm going to come right here to the chair. I'm going to press back like I'm trying to press down on the chair. Okay? You're going to bring your heel down and then come straight back up. Okay? This one's tricky because when you push your heel down, many of us want to shift. That's not what I'm doing right now. Okay? So you got 1 foot on your pad. You got 1 foot back here. You're going to push your heel down, and you're going to drop your elbows so that your shoulders are in line with your wrist. And you're just going to press as far down into that foot as you can. So this is not only giving us that great ankle, leg mobility move, flexibility, but it's putting really good Press, not too much, not too little, on our upper body. And the key here is your shoulder joint has to stay in line with your wrist. So see, you're bending just a little bit at your elbows. And you're pressing into this. You're trying to come down as far as you go you can. But you're working through that foot. Keep your elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. And then come back. Take a big deep breath. Switch. Step back as far as you can. The heel of your hand is on your chair. Fingers are forward. Elbows are in. Drop that heel down. Drop the heel down. Drop the heel down. Yes. Elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. Come back up. Big breath into the nose. Here we go. Push into the heels. In the back. Keep your elbows in. Keep your elbows in. Come down as far as you can. Then come back. We're going to do 2 more. Breath. Here we go. Drop the heel. Keep your chin tucked. Push. Keep your elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. And then come back. One more, one more. Rotate those elbows. Shoulders are over the wrists. Come down, come down, come down, come down. And then come back up. Then go wide. Now you're going to shift. Now you're going to stretch through the lats. Drop that butt down. Keep your ears right at your deltoids, right at your bicep and deltoids, shoulders. Take a breath in through the nose. And you're pushing into your foot, a little more into the heel. Then you're going to rotate. And you're going to straighten your legs. Straighten those legs. Let your head touch the back of the chair. Then go right down into that deep lat pull. So you're pushing your butt back, keeping your chin tucked. Drop into the hip. Yes, pull. You're pulling your butt back, and then you come back in. Yay. Then you're going to come back up and come back up. Okay. Now, if you want to get on the pad again, you can. Okay, we're right here. Now we're going to practice something that we're going to do on Friday with our weights. We've done this before. So, you put one hand here, you put one hand here, okay? Soften up your knees. Some of you have locked your knees. You're on your little balance pad, correct? Okay, you're going to keep the hips pretty solid, meaning they're not going to be moving way out. But I'm going to drop so that my fingertips on this side go down as far as I can go. And my fingertips here go up. But you cannot lock your knees. You know why? Because if you lock your knees and you go like this and you get off of balance, you're going to hit the floor. That's why. Because see, I'm not touching anything here. So I have to find my balance the whole way. So you want to soften your knees, drop your shoulders, down, up. Now I can control my balance. And if I go a little too far forward, a little too far back, I can pull out of that. So I'm really stretching as if somebody's pulling me, okay? And I'm really stretching as if somebody's pulling me down there. And then come back and come back and come back, okay? It's a big move. Careful with the move. Take a big deep breath. Here's this hand. Here's this hand. Do not lock your knees. Soften up the knees. Got it? I'm going to go up with my hand here as far as I can go up. I'm going to go down. But I am not displacing my hips out of the column. My knees are soft. and I'm reaching down as far and hard as I can. And I'm reaching up as far and hard as I can. It's a big one. Breath, breath, keep your knees soft. Breath, then come back in and come back in and come back in. Go back into it one more time. Here we go. Up and down. And don't just put it there. Act like somebody's pulling you up. Like if you were in a boat and you're trying to get into the on the shore or up on a deck. Pull hard. This one is pushing, this one is pulling down. Pushing down, pulling. Pushing down, pulling. And then you'll come back into place. Okay? Now, the last couple ones, I'm heading this into, because I know everybody's busy. I wanted to really focus on feet as the foundation of many moves, which is what I've tried to take you through. I've used some very common moves that we're doing right now, not the least of which is what we're going to end on here. See here? Here's my chair if I need it. I could have it in front of me. But if I have it in front of me, I'm going to depend on it too much. Okay? So a wall, if you're in the corner, you put your hands on something. Now you're going to go and you're going to lift your heels. I know it. And you're going to lift your heels, not much. See, if you go way into a really high, that can sometimes give some pain to the ball of the foot. I'm not asking you to do that. What I am asking you to do is, without the chair, keeping your knees soft, raise your heels a little. Then I want you to raise one toe at a time. And see, the only way that I would have you raise them both is if I had you leaning up against a wall, which would be a really good thing. Okay? So I just want to get some tibialis anterior, this muscle, really functioning. So I'm going to use that transverse rotation like we do when we walk. And I'm going to really pull the toe back. And then bring it down. And then I'm going to really pull the toe back and put it down. Okay? And I'm going to do a series of that. And then I'm going to go back into my heels. And I'm not going to go way up. If I don't want to, if you want to, great. This puts just enough pressure on a bare foot to get that ankle and foot more mobile. And if you do it like for a minute, 2 minutes, you're going to start feeling tired in your foot. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, I'm going to use my chair again. And I'm looking at this as if somebody had terrible neuropathy. They just cannot go without their shoes. So I'm just saying that you're going to find yourself sitting a lot of places anyway. Why not have just a light little, not a heavy towel, just a little towel. Put it down there like that. See that? And before you start doing this next move that I'm going to end on, because I'm trying to get your hips mobile, your ankles and knees going. And in the process of doing that, I've gone all the way up the chain and opened the whole upper body. You see how this is moving? See? Full hip rotation. So those of us with hip issues, feet issues, ankle issues, toe issues, a seated range of motion with our hips, wow. This will help so much if you will do this. Okay, see how I just wrote? I want to be able to go through that move smoothly. I want to see how the hip is going. So once I've done that a couple times, I'll keep my knee down. I'll lean myself back and really get that quad to stretch. Okay. And I'll hold into it for as many seconds as I feel I can until that is just feeling like it's just so much better. Okay? Because if this gets tight, it pulls on backs, it pulls on hips in funny ways. Your feet. The reason I love this one for people with feet issues is A, you're unloaded, and then my foot is in a really hyper dorsiflexion. Then as I go back, whoa, I get that hip tightness out of there because I'm opening up the hip all in one move. So my foot opens up and my hip opens up. I love this move. Okay. So if you find yourself seated and you are a person that has problems with your feet, just start with this. Just start trying to, not that you're going to do it, I'm just saying, and some people will do this and can't pick the thing up. So I have a hard time picking it up with this foot. This is the foot that I had totally reconstructed. But you see, the movement effort of trying to roll this towel up is what I'm looking for. Then do your other foot. Just reach and try to roll it and pull it back. Yeah, roll it into a ball and then spread it out and do it again. And you try to roll the thing in the ball. That's the benefit of doing it with barefoot. It's unloaded. Then you can try to use both of them, but trying to grasp with your feet, that's the whole plan. And if you try to roll it in a ball and open it out and try to roll it in there again, you're already sitting, right? Anyway, I challenge any of you, do this at your Christmas dinner table. Your people will wonder, what are you doing? And then they're going to want to do everything you're doing because they're noticing that you're walking better and all that. Anyway, so this was a little abbreviation. We're knocking off about 10 minutes early, but I wanted to give you some great moves, especially for your feet, because I know you're going to be spending a lot of time on your feet. And it's for ideas for helping those you love